Assalamualaikum and good evening to everyone. Our webinar will be shortly begin. Kindly wait. Thank you for your cooperation. We still have 3 minutes more. Thank you.
Ma'am, in this 3 minutes, I would like to ask you if that would be a problem in failing to register in the link provided in the group, because there are two links, one for the class and the other one for registration. So I didn't register. Would that affect the e-certificate kind of thing?
It's okay then if you cannot register for this webinar. For the e-certificate, we will give you the link at the end of the session. So stay tuned.
All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Assalamualaikum and good evening to everyone. Welcome to today's sharing session on title Research Journey, Keeping Up My Research Momentum. My name is Iliana Dira Sabudin and I'll be your moderator for today. Inshallah, this session is organized by the Electrical and Electronic Engineering Postgraduate Society, ECLIPS, FKE UTHM. On behalf of the organizer, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you. We are really appreciate you are taking time off your busy schedule to join us. We hope that you will gain a lot of knowledge regarding our session today. So as to pray a blessing for our session, let us recite Ummul Kitab Al-Fatihah. For a non-Muslim, please meditate for a moment. Al-Fatihah. Amin amin ya rabbal alamin. Ladies and gentlemen, before we start, I would like to share a few housekeeping notes of the program today. Firstly, please do ensure your microphone is mute during the session as to avoid any interruption. Secondly, if you do face any problems or difficulties during the session, you may type your inquiries in the chat box and our technical team will be able to assist you. Your cooperation will be definitely help the session to be conducted smoothly and effectively. All right. To begin this session, I am pleased to introduce our guest speaker today, Associate Professor Dr. T.S. Asma Rashid Poniran. Assalamualaikum, Doktor. How are you? Sihat ke, Doktor?
Assalamualaikum, alhamdulillah sihat.
Lama tak jumpa, Doktor.
Sudah.
All right. Before we start our talk, let me share a little bit background of our respective speaker. Dr. Asma Rashid received his degree Bachelor in Electrical Engineering from University Tun Hussein Malaysia in 2002. He then pursued his Master Engineering in Electrical Power at the University Technology Malaysia and graduated in 2005. Then he completed his PhD from Nagaoka University of Technology, Japan in 2016. Our speaker research interest is in power electronic area, include power converters, circuits, structure optimization, switching strategies for modular multi-level power converters, high power density achievement of power converters, high voltage gain power converters, and high frequency power converters. These research interests are towards renewable energy, RE, electric vehicle, EV, Smart Grid Power System, SGPS, and Data Center of Power System, DCPS application. Dr. Asma currently is the Senior Researcher of Industry Center of Excellence, REL, at Institute of Integrated Engineering. He also the Senior Researcher at Power Electronics and Converter, FKE UTHM. Besides that, Dr. Asma also the Associate Researcher at Applied Electromagnetic Research Center, and he is the head of research program, Center of Graduate Studies. For now, Dr. Asma got 15 PhD and master student under his supervision. And I'm the one of his student actually. All right, without further ado, I would like to invite our speaker, Dr. Asma Rashid, to deliver his talk. Okay, Doctor, the floor is yours. Please welcome.
Thank you very much for the Mr. Elia for the introduction and also for the moderator for this session. Everyone, welcome to everyone. So I think you have, sometimes we have other thing to do. Then thank you for joining this session and thank you for the faculty FKE and also ECLIP for inviting me to share my experience, also some important thing that postgraduate students should know. And I hope this session will give you some things and momentum for you to step up or to boost up your momentum. So therefore you can continue your routine as a postgraduate students with no worries or with less worries. Okay, let me share the slide of mine. Do you see my slide?
Yes, Doctor.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, this is the topic that I'm not sure, and there are several topics. So I think this is the topic that I want to share to all of you. So it's about research journey, and sometimes, yeah, we feel that during my study, they feel that sometimes we feel downs. Sometimes I feel that I cannot go. So in this session, I will share about the how to keeping up the research momentum. So therefore, you can go further, you can do some things, and try to make it to ensure that your research journey goes smoothly. Maybe it's not per se, it's not smoothly, but you can do some things. There are action that you can be taken in order for you to make sure that you can, I mean, do something in order for you to complete your study. Okay, this is all right of my sharing sessions. There are two parts, part one and part two, whereby part one is I will discuss about share about the basic things and essential skill, plus my experience, and also part two is about the endurance skills plus my experience. So only I hope within 10 minutes we can complete the session. Okay, part one. So the basic thing and essential. Actually, what the basic thing and those essential thing that you have to know before you decided that you want to further study for the postgraduate program, what you should do. So of course there are purposes in it. Each of you has their own purpose, and that purpose is special. For example, maybe because of your future career, because of patients and etc. Sometimes it's not your attention, it's not your desire actually, because of the surrounding factor that push you to continue your study for the postgraduate for the first graduate program. For example, your parent asks you to further study because of they hope that when you continue for the first graduate program, your future will be good, better, and maybe your prospect of the job prospect will be good as well. So there are many things you have to, many purpose. Maybe you have your own purpose, and each purpose, whatever purpose, there are consequences. So I will use by languages and Malay English. In order for you to try to, I hope you can really appreciate and really get what I try to share. So there are consequences that you have to know first. For example, in my case, so for my personal case, actually my main purpose is because of my career. So as a university, so all the lecturer must have PhD, for example. So for that, I have to plan, and I need to continue my study. But there are consequences actually. So if I cannot complete my study, I have to pay all the investment by the government and education back to them. So it's about 500,000. So that's the consequences. So I think each of you has also your own consequences. Sometimes the impact is big, sometimes not. So it's depending on whatever decision, it has consequences. Okay. Yeah. Once you decided you want to go to PhD, you need to prepare. So you have no choice, you have to prepare. For example, try to understand as much as possible about the area, about the topic, or about the scope that you think, or maybe you discuss with your future supervisor. So this is the suitable scope that you will continue, focus. Then start something before you enroll. Means that once you enroll as a postgraduate student, you have something, you are prepared. For example, prepare. You read something. You try to read as you think that's one is as enough for you. then you get the big picture about the area that you want to continue. And you have to ask other person as many as possible about the area of your study, about the university, about your future supervisor, about the environments, about the facilities, so many things you have to consider that. And also, if possible, you also need to know about the requirement for the postgraduate and other specific requirement from the university for you to graduate for master by research and for PhD. So this is ideal case. This is ideal case. But some cases, they just continue. They don't think about anything, just continue. Hopefully, there are other good things after that. Just continue. So we call it a gamble. Because of surrounding factor, they have to continue study, even though they are not ready. So is it good or is it possible if you are not ready, you want to further study for the postgraduate, especially for the by research mode? Is it possible? Yeah, of course possible. Even though there are difficulties there, but possible for you, even though you are not ready, you want to prepare anything, you will just continue. During the study, actually, you can do something on that. So that's the thing that you can consider. Means that you don't moral down with that, because once you decided to further your study, means that for that thing actually the good thing for you in order for you to gain your knowledge at a specific area. It's not bad thing. This is not stealing something or become a robbery, no, because you want to gain your study, gain your knowledge, then for you study. So let me share my some experience. So this is my preparation for my case. Actually, I contacted my future supervisor. My intention actually to further study at that specific lab. So in this case at Nagaoka Institute of Technology, Japan. So this is my first email from my future supervisor during that time. So I listed the key point there. Clearly, my supervisor written that this lab is very strict because this is industry requirement, means that the project that done by this lab. So in over there, actually we call it a lab. There are several laboratories. For example, for my lab, power electronic lab, for example, okay? Industry requirements, and this is actually I extract from this email. From 8 a.m. to 10, maybe 12 or 1 a.m. Then I have to submit conference papers regularly with experimental results. So I have to design my prototype by myself. And in order for me to graduate, I need to publish 3 journals, otherwise I cannot graduate. So this is first impression that I get. So actually during this time, actually I think this is easy. Okay, I just proceed. Then this is the second, I'm not sure second or third. So this is the communication. So I give my detail, my background to my future supervisor. So again, my supervisor highlights about the lab policies, publish a lot of proceedings and journal paper every year, very high lab activities in power electronic field in Japan, 3 journal papers for graduates, buildings, experimental setup, mine to other members project. Action is better than deep thinking. Well, this is very deep to me, because when he stated that mind action is better than deep thinking. Don't talk too much, just do it. It's something like that. Okay. Then I have to publish papers if. So I have to show my credibility before. So is it my credibility is good or not before I can continue in this lab. Then he suggested for me for 4 years, because I have lack of experience, lack of skill, and also usually for the lab, power electronic lab in Japan there, usually in order to continue PhD, so the candidate must continue start from master. For my case actually, and jump to PhD without master over there. And plus I am international student, first candidate. So this is so-called experimental human experience. So therefore, my supervisor try to accept me, and hopefully that the impact is positive. Then this is other communication from actually also contacted the vice presidents and then University of Technology. His name Prof. Muto, and actually the full name, but Yoshiharu Muto. I call it just Muto. So this he also informed me that, noticed me that my future supervisor accept me as a PhD candidate at that lab. And then after that, my supervisor willing to meet me at the Singapore. So during that time, he has the conference there at Amar Hotel Singapore. So I go and managed to meet them, meet my sensei, meet my future supervisor, and also the members there over there. Okay, this is first task. Before I enroll, during Malaysia, actually first task. So I have to design and simulate. There are project there, so I have to design and simulate before I go there, before I enroll as a student, and I have to observe the stability and also the other parameter performance. So during that time, actually I don't care about this. I only positive during this time. I think I can do because I read a lot before I go there. I read a lot. I try to study about this area. So I believe myself that I can do. So that's my first impression. Then this is also very important tool. So I bought new laptop and also hard disk, because during my master actually I have a bad experience because my PC actually I bought a PC. So the PC got problems, so all my data were corrupted. So that's my bad experience. So therefore I manage, I have to prepare for that. So therefore this is very important tools and assistant for you to continue study. Hard disk, external hard disk, and also laptop. This is very critical. So okay, then after enroll as a postgraduate student, actually during this time, actually I'm not still student, because in order to enroll as a student there, so there are interview session there. So in this case, actually I enroll as a research student, research assistant there for about 5 months, I think 5 or 6 months about that. So first, of course you have to enjoy the moment that you successfully register, even though it's not PhD candidate yet. And once I register, I don't know what to do. Blank. I don't know what to do, because all languages, the weather is very cold. Actually, I went there, I think it's about December or November, so almost winter season, so very cold. So then all negative thing crossed in my mind, motivation down, momentum down, and I feel regret because I go there. Then what should I do? What should I do? So I will explain later about actually what we should do for that. So this is my sensei, and first meeting with him, what he said, PhD is dependent on you. So this is first word when I meet you, when my supervisor met me. So he said, PhD is dependent on you. Then I blank. Oh no. Okay. Then he managed to prepare a small celebration, because I'm a new RE there over there. So this is my member actually. I'm still happy during the time. I'm still happy. So I hope I can do something. Suddenly, after 4 months, as a RA, it's not student yet, right? I feel giving up. I feel give up. So I think that I'm not fit here. I am not stable here. I want to go back. I want to go back to Parit Raja. Something like that. Because to me it's very difficult. So during that time, my motivation gone, my momentum gone, all gone. One thing I did as a Muslim, actually I pray, and in order to get my strength back. Then I give my time. I give time to me. It's about after a year. If I cannot go, I will give up. I will withdraw my study. So I give my time to myself. So this is Prof Muto. So the first person I contacted. This is the tutor. Actually, in my university there, once you are foreign student, registered as a student there, the university will prepare one tutor for you to settle down there. So this is the person, Higarashi, his name is Higarashi. So help me to find Apato or find the rental house there. So he helped me a lot because I have no vehicle there. So he support me, I think about a week. So this is my buddy actually. This is postgraduate student here. So he helped me a lot actually for me to and this is my life. So therefore I went there. It's not only for study, actually to make sure that our daily life, my family life is good, and my children has to go to school. So I have I have 3 child, one for the elementary school, standard 1, and then the other 2 actually go to for the we call Hoikuen. Hoikuen actually is something like kindergarten, is something like that. Macam tadika itulah. Then also during that time, actually this is I make a police report because one of my son actually hit by a truck, actually a small truck. So there are when I go there are many issues. It's not only about my study, it's about my life. So I have to settle those many things. My daughter actually, my daughter, in order for her to enter elementary school, so there are interview there. He failed 2 times because she need to able to speak Japanese actually. So 3rd time, then she passed. So it's not easy actually to settle down. Then in order to divert my stress, the toughness, so I need to do some things. For example, I go fishing with my friend over there. Di Jepun ikan ni kecil je. Then I learn Nihongo, Japanese language there. So I pass for basic level. Then cycling with my friend. So I have to divert my stress really. Otherwise, will be difficult for me because once I decided to go there and to study, this is not only my study. This is about my life. So that's why I try to do something. It's not only study, do something else. So therefore, actually, will give benefit or will give meaning of life to me. So therefore, I did many things over there. Though this is my desk, so I have one laptop, one extended monitor, one table here, and one chair. This is my workplace area. So there are 2 workplace. I think one is my report writing area. The other one is the laboratory activity there. So there are two places there. Okay, now what should you do for your case lah? For my case is done, I think. Yes. So there are several things that you have to consider. First is about be strong. Anything happen, be strong. Then give time to yourself. So from my experience, after 4 months over there, I think I want to withdraw from study because I think I'm not suitable. But I pray and I think I need to give myself some time for me to adapt. Then you have to materialize and plan your research schedule, progress accordingly. So this is extremely important. This is crucial. You have to write down, jot down your research plan. Then revise your research plan and schedule or progress monthly. Monthly you have to revise. Is it follow what you plan or not? If not, you have to amend the related activity. Then do and record your daily and weekly progress. For me, I have daily progress, I have weekly progress, I have monthly progress. Do your best for daily progress and quality time of your work in order for you to feel satisfaction for your work. So means that in a day, you have 24 hours, isn't it? For example, during your study, you spend 8 hours. Make sure that 8 hours really the quality time of your research. It's not mixed with others. Jangan keluar minum, tak perlulah. Maksudnya focus on that particular time for you to research. For example, today targets you want to read 8 papers. Read carefully, do summary on paper. I mean, quality time there. Focus on that. Okay? Then respect your SV, your research members there. Maybe you have your friend under your supervisor, so you have to respect and communicate with them in order for you to share your problem, your experience, so anything you have to share. You have to share. The research is about not by your own, but you have to reshare. So once you share, it will gain your knowledge, and sometimes it will relate of your research. Don't be shy to ask and eager to learn new things. Challenge yourself. Of course, take care of your health. This is very important. Then whatever it is that you believe you should do, just do whatever you think. So in this case, so there are many styles in order for you to continue research. There are many styles. So for me, just whatever you think that you should do, just do it. Don't think too much. You must be act accordingly. For example, this is for my case. So the design part. So this is what, for those who are involved in the design part, this is very critical. If you fail to design, means that you cannot get result, you cannot get the correct outcome if you fail design, or if your design is incorrect. So therefore, in this case, after you complete your design, of course there are problem happening in. So for my case, so I have to settle this problem. So how to settle the problem? I have to go to the fundamental of this thing, because this is not the simulation. This is what the simulator result. So from this, there are real things happen there. So how I tackle? So there are one formula that I use, divide and conquer. Each problem you have to divide by the smaller piece. From there, you try to tackle those problem based on what you divided. After that, you will sure know about actually what the reason or what the main problem there. Then from there you can get several solution, and from there maybe you can choose the suitable one. So this is also critical, the design part, the difficult part. Then this is example of my assembly setup. So my sensei or my supervisor only give me 2 wires. Asmar, you do it, only 2 wires. So finally, I managed to make it the system complicated. So believe the process. If you believe the process, you can make it good and better. So during this time, actually, I have to complete 3 projects actually. for my PhD 3 project, 3 prototype project. It's not 3 project. So only 2 proceed. The other one is not. I mean, the result was not significant, so therefore it's not included in my thesis. So similarly, other members there is something like this. After completed is something like this. So this is prototype. It's not easy, because for example, some component I have to design myself. For example, this is inductor, so I have to design by myself, because in market it's not available, so I have to design. Sometimes this GDU, sorry, the GDU is broken, so I have to repair myself. I cannot buy. I have to repair. So for you, in order for me to repair, I have to know about the structure, the operation. Otherwise, I can repair, isn't it? So no way for me to buy a new one. No, I have to repair. So that's, yeah, I try to make sure that my endurance level is good out there. So this is the local conference that I joined. There are 2 conferences. So we got organized by IEJ. IEJ similar to Apple TE, IEJ. So actually, during this time, I think this time. So I only the foreigner that got the best paper award. So actually I surprised. Why I got this one? Orang Jawa daripada Pak Raja pergi Jepun dapat best award. Terkejut juga lah. So because if we give the best to our work, we will get something like that. Even though we are not familiar with that culture, we try our best. Inshallah, there are something. Okay. So this is internal conferences that I joined. There are 3 conferences. One is ICPE. ICPE actually specific for the power electronics in Seoul, Korea. Then the second is in Japan, and third in Taiwan. These conferences actually the specific conference for my area. So therefore, it's not easy to be accepted. Actually, I try 6 conferences, 3 rejected, only 3 accepted. Because this is very special conference. It's not typical conference. So this is my paper that I guess has been published according to the conference. And intellect. This is ICPE FIC for Taiwan, and this is CGS. So this is my journal. I have 4 journals. This is attributed transactions, and this is from IEJ, or we call it. I think this is IEJ Japan. This conference, IAS, Industrial Application System, I think. So I have for journal published, and this is the email. So this is very good email to me, because the results, the decision that my journal paper has been accepted. Okay, then after you give your best, you did something good during your research journey, you can observe the outcome. So the impact, actually discipline, always give quality time to your research work. So we'll discipline yourself, and time management, automatic, you are wisely to manage your times, and after that your mind will be always positive. So read is really the key, the important key that in order for you to pursue or to make sure that your progress is good. So this is some of the outcome, whereby this is my daily report. So I have to write down my daily report to my sensei every day. So usually I think about after 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock. So I will write a report, what I did today, then what the problem today, then tomorrow the sensei will give a comment. I mean, comment about the progress, about the problem. Then this is my weekly progress presentation slide. I mean the material. So I have to present my progress, my problem every week. Then this is my monthly report. Very strict, actually. It's something like this. My routine is something like this. I clock in at usually before 8 o'clock. Actually, I arrive. Then 8 from 8 to 8:10, I think. There are morning assembly. So all members should be gathered in one place, and somebody will give a report about activity today. After that, go back to the room. Then after that, 12 o'clock, rest time. So the break time, 1 o'clock, I have to clock in again. 1 o'clock before I start my research, I think 5 to 10 minutes. So each group should gather and share about actually what are you doing in the morning and what will you do in the afternoon. Then at 7 or 6 o'clock, I have to write report, daily report, every day for 3.5 years. Very strict report, very strict place. So this is an example of my daily report. The progress, the problem, future plan. So this is the important thing that I have to write down about my daily report. So this is an example of my weekly report. Item is last week or this week schedule, then progress, problem, and future plan. The item. And in the slide, actually, I think it's about 15 slides. So I have to tell about the progress and the problem and the possible solutions of the problem. I have to share, and maybe if I cannot solve, maybe some other members will share how to solve that problem. Then this is my monthly progress report. So I have to divide it into, for example, this is April, May, June, July, September, and divided into several parts: progress, result, problems, conference of the paper, and milestones and future. So there are many reporting over there, many reporting. To prepare. That's why after Faman, I feel I want to give up, I want to stop. So this is my Gantt chart. So I revise the Gantt chart every month. So is it follow my plan or not? If not, so I have to do something in order for me to do that. So this is yeah. Actually, this is the my main online database that I refer. One is IEEE Explore, IEJ, and NTT. This is Japan. This is Japan both. So this is my resources really, on resources. So I have to refer and download some paper article from this online database that related to my study. This is very important. For my case, NTT, this is my applications. NTT, one of the company, I mean the technology company in Japan, they provided technology solutions, and also they also provide or share their design, their proposal in this website, and I can freely download and I can freely refer them. So this is very good, very technical content here. And this is general, this is also free access. This is subscribed by UTHM, so I just use my ID for access. Very important. And after end of my study, actually I read more than 1,000 articles. 3.5 years, so I read more than 1,000 articles. So in this case, based on this online database. So therefore, in this case, you have to find actually what the suitable, what the online database is suitable for you, in order for you to find the references, the prominent online database, in order for you to refer, to download article or paper. So therefore, you can refer there and easy for you to organize. So this is my thesis draft. My thesis draft actually I completed is about 1.5 months for the first draft. Yeah, it's about for 6 weeks. I completed my first draft. So how I can do that? Sleeping at 12 a.m. until 4 a.m. 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 jam tidur je lah. 4 jam tidur. So then 4 a.m. I wake up and continue my writing. Even though my sensei said I have to complete my draft as soon as possible, so experimental work still need to be done, still need to be conducted, because there are several results, so I have to prove that. Then 8 times dindong, 8 kali kena reject lah, reject. So agak lama so tak betul, so dindong. What the critical thing, to find the common things. What the common things? What the common thing actually? This is my research gap. For my case, I identify my research gap at the end of my study. So this is very difficult thing. Maybe some of you try to find at early stage, isn't it? For my case, no. I do whatever I think that is suitable, will contribute to my research. Then after that, rasa pening lah. Apa benda ni nak buat? So at the end, because of dindong ni, because I cannot find actually what the common things, what the research gap. So that's the most difficult part. So chapter 1 and 2 is most difficult part to me, difficult part. Because chapter 3 and 4 and above, most of the content is based on the technical thing. So 1 and 2 is very to me very crucial, because I want to tell everybody this is my research, this is my contribution, this is my gap. So so that's the difficult part. Okay, finally graduated. Finally, my sensei, my wife, my lab members, all Japanese, tak ada Jawa sana. Seorang Jawa sini lah. It's not easy, it's not easy. It's difficult. It's not easy lah. So, alhamdulillah, finally I completed. Even though my sensei said 4 years, I can complete 3.5, including duration. So for my PhD itself, 3 years plus 5 months or 6 months SRA. But at the early conversation with my supervisor, he said about 4 years, so I can complete earlier. And yeah, that's why it's good for me. If we do our best, we can make it actually. Will be no problem. So for the first part, this is the key point that I'm to share to you. First, always give your best. Always. Even though they're very small, try to give the best. Number 2, don't easily give up. Don't ever easily give up. Number 3, of course, take some rest. Jangan menggila lah. Take some rest. Go fishing, jogging, holiday, go there. Kena ada rest. Then need to ponder. Maksudnya for your previous history, need to ponder. Ponder means that perlu direnungkan. Am I good right now? Am I doing the right thing? So always tengok ke belakang untuk melihat. Then find your strength. Actually, what is your strength? For example, your memory very good. Then use your strength in order to get benefit during your research journey. Your number 6 is, this is also important, celebrate your wins. Small win, for example, you manage to complete your experimental works, then the result is good, then celebrate. Ajak anak-anak, isteri, kawan, makan. For example, celebrate. Okay, that's the first part. What the essential skill. So this is the skill. Don't give up. Don't easily give up. Do your best. Take some rest. Need to ponder. find your strength, and celebrate quick win. So this is, I want to share about the 6 key points for the essential skill. 1 until 6, you can do it. You can do it, no problem, isn't it? You can do it. You can always do your best. Of course, you can do it. You can, from the give up, actually you can turn, you can convert, or you can turn into don't give up. This is within your range. Then of course, after you tired, sometimes you have you need some rest, and you have to sit at the back, something to ponder, then find your strength, then celebrate. This is something that you can do. Right? Then we go for the part 2. So part 2 actually the endurance skill. So this is the critical skill that sometimes it's not easy to tackle and to handle, because this some skill there is challenge our internal strength. Okay, the first question, did I do the correct way during our study, during your study? Did you do the correct way? For me, for my personal opinion, don't ever think about that. Don't ever think that you can find the correct way during your study in instant. Impossible for me. For me, just do whatever you think this one can give or contribute to your study. Just do. Again, don't give up. Just do it at the beginning. Just do it at the beginning. Whatever thing that you think this one will is one of the component or item that related to your research. For example, yeah, you have alphabet sequence A, B, C, until Z, isn't it? So difficult for you to find actually which one is A, which one B. Just start somewhere. For example, start at D, start at Z. Start somewhere. Okay? Then at the end of the research, you can rearrange accordingly. Okay, this is A, this is B, this is C. Nicely. So whereby you prove that in your thesis, that's the correct sequence, correct way. After end of your study, it's not early. So you can rearrange after end of your study. So from my experience, actually I did 3 projects. Project 1, actually I challenged the structure from the other researcher. They said this is cannot be done, but I proved I challenge actually can be done. Second project, I tried to improve some things due to not significant outcome. So this project is omitted. It's not included in my thesis. Then project number 3, propose new things. New thing that people not yet never people do the project. So I am the first candidate or first the researcher that doing the project. So for my case, there are 3 projects. So I spent this project about 5 months. Then suddenly the outcome is not counted in my thesis. So that's the thing that you have to consider. Okay, what are the difficulties and challenges? There are several things. One of them actually to identify the research gap, to identify the contributions or realities and novelties, to write a paper about your research, to understand principle and concept of the proposed project or proposed concept. Sometimes the concept which is related to the other discipline, whereby this one is not covered in your study, you have to study about that. You have to understand. Then doing design experiments, set up your experimental works, do analysis, write and organize your thesis. So this is, I think this is the several things that difficult and challenges, because some of this beyond your limit. It's not something that you can control. Just now, for the essential skill, you can control because it's about yourself, isn't it? Now it's beyond your your control. So this, I think this is the thing that we have to tackle. So in this session, I will share about the how to identify the research gap. Okay, before that, actually what the research gap? What the research gap? The problem that researcher would want to see that address in the research. It is a research gap that researcher fail with the project, with their proposed project. So it means that there are the missing part of the body of knowledge. For example, you choose the area A, one discipline or scope of the one discipline of knowledge. So there are missing part. That is research gap, or something that not addressed, something important but not addressed. This one also we consider as a research gap. The question or problem that has not been answered in an area of specialization means that discipline area that you focus on. Then after you can identify what is this gap, you can establish the needs, important urgency and necessity for the proposed research project. In all time of research, always begin with research gap. So this is the correct sequence. For my case, it's not like this. If your research gap is not clear, the proposal will be rejected or require major revision or maybe fail. Because research gap will identify actually what your contribution. Problem with many research students, simple assume that research gap is aimed just copy their thesis based on previous researcher. Ini menunjukkan ni lah, malas nak baca lah maksudnya, malas nak study. Okay. Example 1, contoh title, for example, is title impose career study among university student in Hong Kong. For example, actually I took the example from the one resources. The proposed research aim to determine the lived experience of those students who were just forced to take a certain career course according to the wishes of parents or significant other, and how it impacts the psycho-emotional and social well-being of these students. So from this research gap, this is aim, this is gap. The researcher may have learned from experience or through literature, means that there are initial review. There are university students in Hong Kong who were just forced to take certain career course according to the wishes of their parents or significant others. And these students were devastated and become rebellious in school. For this reason, the student may become, this is assumption, student may become social delinquents in the future. Thus, based on the researcher initial review of the literature, it was found that no study has been conducted on this topic. So this is about how to identify, how to write the research gap. Something that not been addressed based on initial review. Okay. Then why need for this study? Why? The researcher argue that there is a need to determine the lived experience of these students so that a career decision-making program can be created as an alternative in addressing the problem. So this is the impact from this problem. This is a gap, this is the impact. So it's something like that. So example 2, research scope and theme, converter with high power density of transportations and data center system, for example. So from this, what the research gap? When higher power conversion is required, the power density of converters suffer as a result of higher conversion losses. Then optimizing passive components in the converter system is one of option to be considered. Researchers focus on control strategy and converter structure for high power density achievement based on preliminary literature review. As a result, by optimizing the instantaneous energy required in the passive component, it is possible to achieve extra high power density of of converters. As a result, there are gaps that can be explored due to no study has been conducted or underexplored on the scope of specialization. Not only no study, but underexplored, so you can consider as a research gap that you can focus. Why the need for this study? The power conversion is required to power up main system and subsystem in transportation sector, including on road, air, and space. So therefore, high power density is crucial due to the space and weight limitation. So this is the impact that required for this study in order for the researcher to do some things in order to fulfill this requirement due to the space and weight limitations. So this is example that how to identify the research gap. Okay, why is it important to identify research gaps? To prevent major revision or fail. So easy for you to publish a research paper or some content can be published because this one is new and novel. Then to declare this is unique and original research and deep knowledge of your topic. That's why research gap is very important for you to make sure that your study is different from others and there are contributions that you can contribute to the body of knowledge. So therefore, you can contribute something new. Okay, how to identify the research gap? What the process that involved in this case? So there are 4 things, 4 methods that involve in this case. Number 1 is patient. You need a patient in order to identify the research gap. You need a patient for some particular area of your study. You need to put a patient there. Number 2, trend. You need to follow actually what the mega trend, what the critical trend that people or researchers doing right now, for example. Number 3, review. You need read a lot. You have to review paper. You need read a lot. On number 4, other or kiosk. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You think that's one research gap. Okay, about the patient. If you're patient about something, even though you are tired, so make you hurt, for example, you still can smile because you're patient on that, isn't it? Even though you are too busy, you have no time, but you try to do something on that because the one is so patient. You're patient on that. Okay, from the patient here, you can identify the specific scope topic in your discipline. For example, in education, for example, teacher been up level, critical pedagogy, extra, for example, psychology, social control, racism, verbal communications, engineering, energy handling, energy conversion, for example. That the specific discipline from there, you can explore, for example, but you have to identify. Of course, this is with your assistant of your supervisor and discussion with the other members. So from there, you read or you will see then about that. But you need a patient first. You are really patient on that, then you are willing to read more, you are willing to ask because you're patient about that. Number 2 is about the trend, about the mega trend, about the important trend. So what the trend? For example, nowadays we talk about the EV, electric vehicle, for example. That's the trend. Actually, I give one example. EV. We focus on EV. I mean, also in Malaysia, also government start to allow for the EV right on the road, for example. So there are some policy there. So trend is very important. For example, for my case, I will a bit later. So if you know the trend exactly, easy to know what have and have not been done, ensure that the research is timely, trend or recent debates, and necessary serious problem that require urgent consideration. Then do not do research for the sake of doing research. In this case, only completing a master degree or doctor degree. Trying to appreciate, trying to give passion on what are you doing. Then you will appreciate that. We do research because there is problem that need to be addressed, need to be solved. Problem that need to be improved. Okay. Subscribe and refer appropriate online database. So this is very important. For example, if you register Mendeley software, Mendeley actually the citation software, and in the Mendeley, you declare your paper. Means that in Mendeley, they will refer your title. Then every month, the Mendeley will give you, will notify you the latest publication article title. So from there, you will know also the trend actually about the research. Number 3, review. So in this case, you have to know what's after you identify the specific discipline. Then you have to read more about that discipline. You have to know what other scholars do, dance, and what researcher dance, what the improvement, what they do actually. From there, you can identify the possible gap that can be one of your research contribution. Then, of course, in this case, in order to read, you need a appropriate online database. For example, IEEE Explore, for example, because you have to download many papers. So from there, you have to sorting by the disciplines, and from there, you will identify which paper that very related to your study. Okay, number 4, kiosk or others. So for my case, this is referring my case. You can identify later, no problem in this case. For my case, after end of the study, so I identify actually what my research gap based on my data, my design results, the outcome of my experimental works. So from there, I identify, and also based on my 2 project there. So from there, I identify it later about my research gap. So in this case, I have to find actually what the common thing my research. So therefore, if you follow this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, so actually it's up to you which one you want to start. For my case, actually at the end of my study, then I can identify my research gap. So there are several times. So it's up to you, and you have to discuss with your supervisor. Actually, when the suitable time that you need to identify the research gap. And how to identify based on what. So in this case, the assistance from supervisor is very important, and also discussion among the members of the same area also is extremely important for you to know or to identify actually this is suitable or not. So this your research actually can be published or can be established as a contribution in your study or not. So this one is very critical. Otherwise, difficult for you to publish. If you proceed with the current study, maybe you got major corrections, or the revival, or maybe fail for the worst case. So this is very important for you to identify the correct way, the correct discipline, or the correct scope of your study. Of course, this is from the assistant of your supervisor. I mean, you need a assistant supervisor, and also discussion about the people that same area or researcher that same area with you. Okay, key point for the neuro skills: be patient and patient. Be patient and patient. believe the process. Keyword number 2, believe the process. You must be tough. Then make sure that your endurance level is high. And after that, the satisfaction. This will test you actually. Make sure you have your endurance level. Ini maksudnya daya ketahanan dalaman. Make sure at the optimum point. Kalau sebagai orang Islam, berdoalah banyak-banyak, diberikan kekuatan, diberikan kesihatan untuk dapatkan endurance level yang tinggi. Just the best satisfaction. Okay, this picture is very important to me. Okay. This is during in Taiwan, whereby during this time I have to prepare conference material because one of my pupil has been accepted for the presentation, and I have to complete my experimental works. At the same time, during the time, I have to prepare my first draft, my thesis during the time. So even though there are many things in my mind, actually, I have to smile. I have to make sure that I can manage that. I can manage that. I can manage that. There are multiple jobs, multiple tasks I have to need to be completed. I need to manage my travel, many things. Even though my sister know during this time actually my time to write. Suppose he has to be summarize to write. She say no, you have to present. You have to submit paper, present. You have to complete the experiment for this conference. I feel so stressed, but I have to make sure that the stress become positive. So therefore, in this case, this is very important in renewable. Daya ketahanan dalaman is sangat penting for you to go further, for you to continue, for you to complete what has been started. This, to me, this is very important. Make sure that you have the good endurance level. I still smile, even though one of my friends has been punched by my supervisor. But, so you have to smile in this case. And there are unknown said that if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will spend its whole life believing it is stupid, and also maybe this is impossible for fish. But there are fish that can climb a tree because we only judge what is supposed to be. We don't explore more. Similar to our ability, our capability, we have to explore more. Don't limit yourself. Okay, with that, thank you for my sharing. If there is any question, maybe or anything you can ask me, or you can give comments, or you can share your experience as well about that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Asma, for the great talk and sharing a lot of tips and experience. So to all the participants, now I am opening for a Q&A session. You can open your mic and ask directly to the speaker, or you can write it in the chat spot and I will read it to the speaker. Okay, open to participant. You can ask the speaker.
Assalamualaikum.
Salam, Umar.
Yeah, thank you, Prof, for the excellent presentation. We pray our journey to also be successful as yours. My name is Umar Abubakar Saleh. Right now, I'm currently calling from Nigeria, and I say good morning to you because it is 8 a.m. here.
Oh, really? Okay. Good morning.
Prof, thank you, sir. Inshallah, I want to ask a question.
Yeah. Sure.
A situation whereby you have 2 supervisors or 3 supervisors, supervisor 1, 2, maybe and 3. And it happens to be your main supervisor, that is supervisor 1, is always active You will send a message, the supervisor would reply, correct this, do this, and you will do. Immediately you send, the supervisor would reply again, do this, do this. So you are with your supervisor, you have done that severally. Then the other supervisors, you send the first one to them, they didn't even reply for more than many times. No reply, nothing. And it is due for you are through with your main supervisor, which is finally satisfy your work. And FKE in the case study, they say submit for pre-viva or viva. And they said all the supervisor must sign your work before you do submission. And the other two did not even see your work. They don't even have time to read your work. Maybe schedule too much for them, or the case may be. How do you intend to handle this? Because you don't even know when the supervisor will go through your work. What advice will you give to students in this situation? How will they overcome this challenge? I ask this question because I have a friend that has supervisors, two supervisors, and he said the first supervisor is active, always replying, correcting him, but the other supervisor is not doing anything. And he has spent 4 years in UTHM, and his school where he's lecturing in his country, they are disturbing him. And the problem is not from his main supervisor, it's from his second supervisor. So how do he handle this situation? And it's not that so that the second supervisor may not feel as if he's reporting him or he is challenging him for not doing his work. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, thank you, Umar. Umar, you are president of Student Branch, isn't it?
President of
Thank you, Prof. I'm the president of IEEE and also president of International Student. He's one of my international students that have challenge and he report to me. Okay. So I said, okay, since this lecture is here and Professor Azmar Rashid is not only a professor, but he's in the CGS. So he should be able to provide answer and guide to this particular scenario so that I can guide the student. And inshallah, Prof, by 26th of this month, I will be doing my pre-viva. Thank you, Prof.
Thank you. Okay, I will try to divide and conquer. I mean, divide your question. I try to divide, try to answer your question, and I will divide into two parts. One is perspective of as a research student. As a research student, actually, supervisor is important, but the supervisor is not important after half of your study. I mean that during your study, maybe after half, you know the detail about your way, about your scope, the details. Or supervisor, maybe he or she, they are not sure about the detailed things. Only you know about the detailed things. When it comes with the various supervisors, for example, you have 3 supervisors, and only some of the 3 commits or response accordingly what your questions, I think it's okay. No, that's why it's okay, because you should know about your directions. You should know about what you should do. That's why my experience, because my sensei only give me 2 hours and Asman do it. It's something like that. Then after I find difficulties, so I will refer him. But not always refer, but sometimes I refer, sometimes not, because I know this is my direction. After some time you focus on your research, you know actually what is your path, what is your, how you can narrow down your research, and what is your possible contributions. And from there, what is your research gap? You know about that. And you know what should be done. That's my answer of the perspective of a student. Okay, as a supervisor, supervisor should respond accordingly, promptly and accordingly. Means that if the student, PG student, has problem, they have to respond, they have to assist the student accordingly and promptly. If you found out this one will disturb your journey of your study, for example, Umar, you are FKE, isn't it? You have to discuss with the faculty. In this case, maybe deputy deans or deans. If this one is annoying, or you can report to CGS. So in this case, I think the better thing, you have to discuss with the faculty first about this problem. If this problem will disturb you, because our policy, our guidelines clearly stated that supervisor must assist the student. If supervisor fail to do so, faculty can replace with the new supervisor. That's very clear. Umar, okay, is it okay? Umar?
Umar?
Yes, Prof. Yes, Prof. I had your question, which is self-explanatory, and thank you for the answer. As I said, the student is afraid so that the supervisor should not feel that he reported him to faculty or to whatever. But your answer is now self-explanatory. It's not reporting, but he's looking for a solution to his problem. Thank you, Prof.
Okay, Doctor, there is a question at the chat box. Okay, Assalamualaikum, Prof. Could you elaborate more on novelties, contribution, and significance of the research?
Okay, novelty and contribution is something that people not doing, the missing or gap there, or something they underexplore. Siapa yang tanya ni? Muhammad
Kushari.
Yeah. So something that Muhammad Kushari, something that underexplore. So in this case, I think better you focus on something that underexplore. Means that not many people doing that. Not many people focus on that. Something new, I think very difficult, but something focus on very few people or very few researchers that focus on that particular part. For example, for my case, actually my research about I want to prove that for that structure, I can get high power density. One of the problem actually, the passive component is bulky. So in this case, I challenge, because not many people focus on that, I challenge some researcher there. They said this component must be bulky. So therefore the energy can be stored in good. But I challenge them, so actually can be smaller in order to achieve high power density. So I try to optimize, try to reduce the size as small as possible. So therefore I can achieve power density. But there are some negative impact there. But I prove that the impact is not affect the system, the overall system. So therefore I focus on that. So how I can identify that? I read more about that specific area, specific what I'm focusing. So in this case, actually, the first thing I try to explore about type the keyword in to explore about that particular area. So I found that there are very few papers about that, or very few research about that. So I think this area, I mean, this thing I can declare as my research gap and my contribution. So therefore, people said this one can be done, cannot be done. But I said yes, can. Why I can? I justify with the design method, experimental proven. So therefore, from the analysis, it seems that even though this one is small, can contribute publicity, the drawback actually is not influence, is not affect the system efficiency and also the system stability. So that's I can answer. I hope I can answer. Sherry.
Okay, Doctor, someone asked you about the language barrier. Means the Japanese language. Maybe you can elaborate something.
Okay. During my study, yeah, of course, this is one of the barrier. But I think during my activity, actually, I speak with my members in English. I don't speak Japanese. But in order for me to deal with the school teacher of my children, yeah, of course, I need to speak Japanese. If I want to go to supermarket to buy something, buy goods, so I took Japanese. So I have no problem. I'm not sure about that. So that's why I joined the Nihongo class in order to. But for the research, there's no problem about the language. I still use English.
Next question is, let's say there is a third year student PhD, but still haven't published any papers. Is it better for them to stop or to quit their research since there is no progress? I mean, they don't have any publishing in within 3 years. Any recommended or suggestion, Doctor?
Okay, for this case, I think as I shared before, please don't give up. So anything, please discuss with your supervisor. If you are not, you have conflict with supervisor, please meet your deans. If you are from faculty, please know dean of faculty or deputy that has no relationship with your supervisor, please discuss nicely about that. I think if your supervisor identify your research scope is appropriate for your level of study, I think will be no problem. Only for you to digging up, I think will be no problem. But if you have no publication with literature, I think this is a problem. I'm not sure what the cause of problem, but please discuss with your supervisor. If you cannot discuss, please find other people that can help you. For example, the dean of faculty or the lecturer that you are good with them. You try to discuss, try to elaborate about that. Yeah, I think if you refer to website of CGS, there are documents there, the role of supervisor and role of student. And I think several times I share about the town hall time, isn't it? So I share many times about that. The supervisor must show their role because it's stated in the regulation, and also the student. Siapa yang tanya tadi?
Excuse me, I have a question. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you so much for the presentation, Dr. Asma Rashid. I'm student PhD, Tara Saraf.
Tara, okay, Tara.
Yes, yeah. Excuse me, I have the two questions. The first one, me, I have a two supervisor, but when a supervisor give me the comment and suggestion, I do modify and update. But sometimes, like 2 times, 3 times happens, and another supervisors have the comment and suggestion, but sometimes it's different. I don't know. I follow this comment and I call this one many times, and I change it, modified and update. And another the other thing is, yes, supervisor is give us like the comment and suggestion. But not like the student, because many times I think I see many the thing is needed, must be I put it. Oh, supervisor gives no put it or don't put it like this one, but I needed to like explain this one or in detail. And sometimes I confuse. I am follow, but sometimes I'm not follow. Maybe my supervisor is to be upset. I'm no I follow, but however, we follow the supervisor, give us the comment and suggestion, but not like the student. Now about everything in a detail about the thesis and the job and in a detail everything. Okay. And sometimes I'm confused. I listened to my main supervisor or co-supervisor. I don't know how many times I do modified and update.
Okay, thank you, Tara. I hope you are good, Tara. Actually, there are two answers in this case. If I'm for my case, during my experience, actually, I don't really hurt my supervisor because I believe that what I'm doing is correct and what I'm doing is enough. So therefore, even though my supervisor said this one, I justify this cannot be done because of blah blah blah. So I have to argue with my supervisor because I found that this is not stable, for example. So in this case, actually, if you follow your supervisor, because supervisor maybe they just guess, maybe this one, but you have to justify by yourself. Maybe this one cannot be done. This method is not stable because of there are error or there are effect of the system, for example. So you have to justify your side if you want to argue with the supervisor. So if you refer to the regulation of UTHM, the important supervisor actually your main supervisor, it's not your co-supervisor. Yeah, so you have to follow supervisor. But I think in this case, it's not important you follow your supervisor because you know what you're doing, you know the detail of your projects, and you know the limitation of your project. So anything suggested by supervisor, you can argue with the justification nicely. So don't follow all of your supervisor.
Yes, yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you so much for the answer.
All right.
Actually, doctor, the student who asked that he didn't publish any papers, actually he's from UTP.
Oh, UTP.
Maybe different requirement from UTHM, I guess.
UTP Petronas ini.
Yes. Okay, another question, doctor. From Ja'afar Sulaiman, he need help because he's quite struggling to identify a gap for his PhD in electrical engineering. Maybe Ja'afar Sulaiman, you can elaborate your question to speaker. Ja'afar Sulaiman, are you there?
Assalamualaikum. Good morning, Prof. Thank you very much for the guide that you have been given in the presentation. But my own problem is, Prof, I have been reading papers. For now, I have read more than 100 papers, but doesn't seem to be focusing on one's gulf. So my supervisor said I should read and I should start my literature review, but I actually need help on identifying the gap, and that is the first stage in the research. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Jafar. Yeah, of course, this is difficult, but for your case, you are already 3 years, isn't it? You are already 3 years in UTHM?
No, I'm studying here in Nigeria, sir.
Oh, okay. Okay, actually, there are several techniques in order to identify the gap. For my case, actually, I identify at the end of my study. So, yeah, that's the difficult part. I think for your case, after a year or after a year and a half, if you cannot find the research gap, your supervisor must assist you to identify what the possible gap, what the possible research gap. If supervisor cannot help you, you need to communicate with your partner or with your researcher that similar area with you, either in Nigeria or other country. You have to communicate. You have no choice in this case, because this is your study. Yeah, I agree with you. Some supervisors they have no experience about that particular area. In order to identify this is suitable or not for this gap, but you have no choice. You have to find other way. For example, please find your friends either in Indonesia that see similar area, or you can ask other professor from other country or your country about that. Is it, for example, you listed 3 or 4 items, you assume this is a gap, you send her email to them, then please advise whether this is suitable or not for PhD for this area. So you have to do something. You cannot let that like that. You have to do something about that. Jafar?
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir. This is another dimension I need to take. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Okay, another question from Muhammad Shazwan, doctor. How did you manage to maintain that attitude from beginning to the end of study, especially during the final stages where high pressure and time constraint, especially thinking of the graduation career as well as future challenges?
Okay, how I maintain my motivation and momentum, because I think many things. I think about my parents. I think about my child, my wife, my family, my governments that give me scholarship. I think many things. And this is one of the, because the amana that I have to complete. So that's thing actually. That thing bring me always at the maximum momentum. Whatever come, even though it's very difficult for me, sometimes I cannot sleep well, I have to take it. That's my responsibility. So therefore, in this case, I try to talk to myself, be strong, be strong, be strong. And of course, if you're Muslim, you have to pray. Seek for help from Allah, inshallah.
So another question, Doctor. Can novelty be proven by just simulation, not any hardware like robot mover or something?
Okay, actually, there are three parts there. One is your design. Design usually, maybe you focus on modelings of the algorithm about your design. And after that, you need to confirm your design is good or not by using any software simulator to simulate your design in computer, for example. So is it the parameter is good or not, achieve or not the requirement of the standard, for example. Then after that, because usually for the simulation, the condition are ideal. So some of the requirement, for example, for my sensei, I have to prove with the hardware. So I have to build hardware. I have no choice. But if your simulation is very complicated, so difficult to prove with hardware, so it should be okay. As long as the principles are correct, as long as the design are follow what it should be, will be no problem. So this is based on my experience. So of course, you need to confirm your design. So how to confirm design is correct or not? You publish a paper. You go to this special conference, you present your idea, your concept to the professors, and they will comment. Is it good or correct or not, or your concept or design? Or you can email to other professors or to other experts about your project. Of course, some of them will not reply, yeah, I agree with that, but try to do that. That's the way how to find if you don't have any prototype. So that's the way how you can confirm, whether what you do is correct or not, or achieve or not. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Doctor, another question. Can you share with us how to improve our writing skill? Any suggestion, Doctor?
How to improve? You have to write many papers. Okay. For your information, actually during my study, 3.5 years, 3 during PhD and 1.5 years is during my RA. I managed to publish 9 publications, 4 journals, 5 conference papers. So means that every year, on average, I had to publish about 3 papers. And every 3 months, I have to publish 1 paper. So on average. So means that I read more, I read a lot. So in order to improve your writing skill, you have no choice. You have to write. Research about yourself. Then how you can, this is another interesting topic. How you can manage your writing. This is also very crucial and critical. So from my experience, I gain my experience about writing skill because I write a lot. From there, I can judge, I can manage my writing, my story, or for example, paper or my thesis, because I write a lot. It's so easy for me to write because of during my study, I write a lot. So therefore, from there, easy for me to arrange and organize my thesis and also my papers. So the keywords you have to write.
Okay, Doctor. Just now you have told us that you have do your draft thesis in 1.5 months, right?
Yes.
You share with us the experience how you get to do it in 1 month.
Okay. First of all, actually, my sensei said, Asma, you can write your draft. So tomorrow I start. So I start. How I start? Actually, I plan. Okay, this chapter how long it takes. Chapter 2, how long I plan. Then after that, from the 24 hours, I plan. So in this case, I only sleep for 4 hours. Then 20 hours, I focus on my writings, my experiments, and my conference paper. So therefore, in this case, because I publish many journals, so easy for me to get technical thing there from the journal. Then I put in my my thesis, because the data all there, I mean, has been verified by the reviewer, isn't it? So this one is I just get back my outcome there. I put on paper. That's chapter 3 and 4, 5 is easier, because the experimental results has been proved. So no problem for me. So difficult part only chapter 1 and 2 for me. So how I can tell the people that what the research gap. So this one need time for me to, yeah, from the 1,000 papers, how I can arrange my paper. So from there, how I can select which paper that related to my study, and from that, the discipline. So from there, I can find the I managed to identify the novelty, the research gap, the contributions. Then I put in my. So in this case, the keyword actually this discipline. How you manage your time, how you use your time effectively. For example, sometimes when you start write, you blank, you don't know what to write. Just write, whatever language. Start with the keyword, key point. After that, you make a praise. Just type, just write. From there, you can repraise, you can put a proper sentence, but start with the key point. But you keep writing, don't stop. So that's my experience during it. It's about 1 month and 2 weeks, 1.5 months.
So you start writing from chapter 3, 4, 5, and then you go back to chapter.
Yes, exactly. Yes, reverse engineering from the result to the France.
Okay, participant, another questions? We still
Hello, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi.
Hello.
Nama saya Sayuti from your ATM. Doctor, this is about the not about much about research lah. It's about the career path lah. I'm currently a full-time student lah, PhD student, and looking at the trend right now, kita dapat lihat that the PhD holder are mostly are employed. And then so the opportunity to become a lecturer memang dah very slim lah kan. It depends on the how hard how many publication have you done, then become your dia akan naikkan you punya ni sikit lah kan. As for me, I nak tahu, is there any orang kata opportunity, let's say I want to do a freelance, become freelance researcher as part of the part-time lecturer tu memang ada lah kan. Tapi in case of continuing after I finish my PhD, and then after that, so the continue, and I'm hoping that there's a continuation after my PhD lah. Since research ni memang apa kata memang minat. Instead of kita habis PhD kita dah tak tahu apa, and then they don't contribute back to the university atau to the community lah kan. So is there any ada tak suggestion from doctor about that?
Okay. Nama siapa tadi?
Sayuti.
Sayuti. Daripada UiTM.
Ya, betul, UiTM.
Okay. Sebenarnya kalau kita fokus pada research mengikut mega trend yang betul, we can go further. For example, contoh, I got one friend, he doing during his study PhD, he doing about the contamination of space, pencemaran di angkasa. Bila habis belajar balik ke sini, dia tak tahu gimana. Sebab it's not the mega trend. Bukan Megatron, mega trend. It's not mega trend. It's not what people thinking. It's not what people focus. It's not what country focus. So therefore, in this case, the mega trend is extremely important if you want to go further. For example, katakan, you focus on the EV, for example, part of the EV, for example. Now, each country in the world focus on the EV now, including Malaysia. For example, you focus on part of EV. If you focus on EV, now all university in Malaysia, they try to develop the center of excellence for EV. And research focus on EV, not EV per se, part of EV. For example, about the converter, about the motor, about the frame body, about the material. Semua menjurus kepada EV punya keperluan. If you focus on that, you can be a visiting professor, because visiting professor actually from industry. You can visit professor, you can external researcher, or you can be a part-time lecturer. So boleh dia di jalan banyak tu. Sebagai contoh di UTSM kita ada pensyarah part-time. Dia akan mengajar beberapa subjek. So semua ada graduate. So if you are specialist in one area, you can take one subject, for example, for master level. You can be a part-time lecturer. Tu ada imbuhan lah. Then you share about your, for example, you follow the mega trend, your finding is very significant, for example, and you propose a new method or new design or new itu, then you can buat jerayawara satu Malaysia. All university, they invite you, you give talk, then boleh dapat kredit and juga dapat kewangan di situ. There are many ways actually. But make sure that your research focus, please focus on the mega trend.
Understood.
Saya harap jawab gitu.
Boleh insyaAllah. InsyaAllah dapat buka minda sikit. Alright, thank you very much, Dr.
Excuse me, the question, Dr. Asma Rashidia, you said you every 3 months you publish the paper.
Yeah.
But this one, Alhamdulillah, wa shukr, depended. You choose the good right the journal, because for me, it depended the journal. Some journal take the 8 months or the 6 months to answer. I have one paper after 6 months answer, and when I do the reviews on this one after it needed 2 months to be published. Because sometimes depended the journal, it is take like the 8 months or 6 months until to be the answer reviews accept or reject like this one. But you maybe the journal you choose it, it's okay. But I know for the cost the journal just you are paid or the university is paid for the cost.
Thank you, Tara, for the question. Actually, my first journal after a year published, after 8 months, I enrolled. 6 months plus 3 months. RE and as an enrolled PhD student, I start write my paper during 8 months at the university. That's my first paper. Then after a year, then the paper has been published. What I can say, Tara, is not. I'm. For example, if I write one paper, I'm not waiting for paper to accept. No, I write another paper. I write after complete submitted, I write another paper. Then sometime in a month there are 4 papers I write and submitted. That's why the average 3 months. It's about 3 months the average. Actually, during end of my study, there are many papers I write. It's not I write first paper, I wait for no, it's not like that. Because during the waiting of the acceptance of the paper or the decision of the paper, so I need to find other things. What other thing that I can publish? So therefore, for that case, I read the paper, and at my university during my study, yeah, the university actually I can claim all the fees from the university, unlimited. That's why I can publish money paper.
Yes, you're right. We are not wait until this paper publish. I write another paper. Absolutely, me too. The same I do. When I send the paper submitted, I'm working for the another paper until this paper come to the answer, like the accept or whatever reviews the comment or suggestion, and I submit another paper. But this I told you depends the journal. Yes, some journal like 1 month or 2 month answer, but some journals take like 8 months or 6 months until came the reviews and you do the modified and update. But for the journals, you said you are Japan. You pay the cost or the journal, the university paid?
I claim. I pay first, then I claim.
Claim. But okay, for them, some journal like need extra page. Like if I write like need the say like 8 page or 10 page. If I write extra page, like I paid 14 page, must be I paid for the extra page.
Yeah.
But one journal I submitted, but I withdraw it. But until not return me the money for the extra page, I paid. And this one, but if the paper for the journal, if not accept, we can send it for the another journal. But if accept, we can. I draw it and I send it to another journal.
Okay. Actually, some my paper, I try to find the minimum charge. The journal that I mean, some journal are free because, for example, for the infrafactor 4 or 5.3, this one is free but difficult to be accepted. Free. Other journal, for example, Scopus Index, there are processing fee charge. So for my case, all my journal there, they are free journal, but infrafactor. But for the conference paper, I have to pay. So how do I pay? Actually, I pay, then I claim to the university. So in this case, for example, you have the extra pages. For example, for my case, if extra pages there's a charge, so I have to reduce. I have to rewrite my paper, then become the, for example, maximum 10. So I from 14 to 10. So I have to rewrite the paper. So in this case, you have to wisely manage your paper publication. You cannot just submit. No, you can. So therefore, in case, because there are implications, one is the cost, and the other one about the time. So you have to type. You have to wait the time. Sometimes it takes a long time to wait the decision whether they accept or not, isn't it? So for my case, for example, paper 1, I write about this proposal, for example, proposal A. Then paper B, paper number 2, I write other things. It's not same with the paper 1, no. Paper 3, other thing. Paper 4, other thing. Then I submit to the other journals. It's not same thing. So each my paper has their own contribution. So unique. So that's why, yeah, in this case, all my paper has been accepted and published because of that. So the keyword now, you have to keep writing. Okay, Dara, I hope this can answer your.
Sorry, you said for the Q1 what? Q1?
Imperfector, isn't it? Usually, journal with imperfector, usually, not all, usually, the fee is free. There is no fee. For example, if you write in 15 pages, free, but extra you have to pay. So in this case, I try to follow the requirements, so therefore I can get the no charge for the publication. And sometimes they are black and white and color, so I try to choose the minimum cost.
Yeah, yes, you're right. It depends on the journal.
Yeah.
Some journal like say 10 page or 12 page.
Yeah.
We need the low cost and the time to be not to be late. Some journals the time is to be late 6 months, 8 months, but the cost to be low. But some journal may be 1 month or 2 months, the time to be latest, but the cost is expensive. Dependent, yeah. The journal, yeah. You must be choose them better and good journal to be high quality and the time not to be take the time a lot and the cost to be suitable.
Yes, exactly. Something like that.
Okay, Doctor. Another question, Doctor. Can we copy our past own published paper in our thesis? Will be no problem if it show plagiat, Doctor?
Okay, in this case, usually what you publish, actually you want to prove that your method, your outcome, your algorithm, your study is verified by the reviewer that you don't know, isn't it? The purpose to prove your concept is correct, your design is correct, your outcome is correct. That's the purpose of why you publish. So of course, in order to write your thesis, you can use the results from the paper that you publish, because that they prove that what you're doing is correct. So therefore, you can use some part, some finding from that paper to be included in your thesis. Will be no problem. Suppose will be no problem. That the purpose of, in order for you publish a paper to prove that you are doing the correct thing and this one is not obsolete, can contribute to body of knowledge. That's the purpose of paper. So of course you can use because this one is belong to you actually. You can use the results, the outcome there, and to be included in your thesis. So about the Turnitin, actually you can exclude if this one is your paper. Will be no problem. Your supervisor has got access on that. You can exclude this. You have to identify this is your paper, then cannot be counted as the in order to check your similarity index. So I hope it answer your question.
Okay, last question I get, Doctor. Doctor, can you share with us the free publisher, Doctor?
Free publisher.
Free journals. You mean that?
So you can refer Web of Science database there. There are many journals free there. For example, for electrical, all artificial transaction usually free. Not all, most of them are free. Then you can refer to for example, IEJ, Japan, some of the journal free with impact factor. So you can choose actually. So in order for you to choose for example, for my case, I managed to submit the interpretation on industrial application, TIA, transition on in the industrial electronic application, something like that. So the journal free. If I factor, I think three something or 4, something like that. So free. So you can use that. You can search. You can find those free journals with the prominent journal. With the factor with the good reputation journal. So you can publish there. So how to find? You can refer to Web of Science database. So from there are several journals there with the specific area of field. So you can refer there.
Excuse me, the one question I have, I answered, maybe you asked a lot. If we are submitted the paper, if not accept, we can withdraw it. But if accepted, we can withdraw it. I submitted another journal.
Okay, actually you can request for the publisher to be excluded. For example, you submit one paper to journal A, then suddenly journal A accepted, but suddenly that journal is not in the best corpus, for example. Okay, then you want to use the same paper to send or submit to the other journal, whereby the journal B in the best corpus, for example. you can request for journal A to withdraw your paper. Then you can submit that same paper to the other to journal B. But you have to request. And of course, in order to request, you need to justify. For example, this is a requirement for the graduation, blah, blah, blah. So the journal will withdraw your paper from their database. Then you can use the paper, same paper, to submit to the journal B. Maybe during the time the journal B is in the by Scopus, for example. Of course, you can do that.
Okay. I guess there is no more question. Actually, we have come to the end of the session. Okay, Alhamdulillah. We have come to the end of our session today, Doctor. Thank you so much, Doctor, for your quality time with us. I am pretty sure that this talk is so fruitful, very informative, and will boost motivation to all of us students to replan our studies. Inshallah, we will pray for our best research journey ahead. So, guys, I would like to remind to all of you guys to fill in the feedback form for e-certificate preparation, and your response will be used to help us to improve our future session. Okay, the link has been posted into the chat box. Okay, lastly, to all the participants, I do hope all of you can turn on your camera for a photo group with our speaker. Everyone, I hope you can turn on your camera. We will have a simple photo group. Technical, please get ready. Okay, smile everyone. Okay, one more. Okay, please open your camera. Speaker, keep smiling, speaker. Okay, one more. Okay, last one. Okay. Okay, thank you to everyone. With that, we shall end our session today with Tasbih, Kibarah, and Surah